Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Real Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. Jota, and today is Friday, but we have a very good bunch of stuff to talk about because, as you know, yesterday was the first day of the return of Kylian Mbappe to PSG, and as I told you yesterday, it was going to be a meeting between the board members of Paris Saint-Germain, whether Leonardo Al-Khelaifi with Kylian Mbappe, to talk about his future. For now, we don't know too much about that though, but the first information that are coming out from France, and this is an article from Diario Marca, is that apparently the player still insists in not to renew his contract with PSG, which is of course very good. But I'm gonna put this topic for the end of the show today, because before that I would like to talk about different stuff, about different things that we have here. For example, let's talk about the first practice of David Alaba with Real Madrid, because apparently there are some rumors out there that other players, other teammates, Real Madrid teammates from David Alaba, when they saw David Alaba in the first practice, it was like, oh my god, what is this guy doing? He's kind of airplane, man. He's working in an incredibly good physical condition, and it is because he's paying too much attention to the physical condition like any other Bayern Munich player. I mean, as you know, for Bayern Munich, it's not a secret, the physical condition was one of the most important aspects for the German team, right? So when the Real Madrid players saw to David Alaba in the first practice, apparently they were completely amazed. I mean, this guy is a super fast, powerful guy, super explosive guy, so that is good for Real Madrid. I mean, and I'm not surprised at all that the Real Madrid players were surprised at the same time with David Alaba, just because over the last 3 years, if you think about it, with Zinedine Zidane, the physical condition, the body shape of the players was not, in my opinion, the most important aspect, which is funny because in these days, if you see playing to teams like, for example, Chelsea, if you see PSG, if you take a look at Bayern Munich, the physical condition, man, is one of the most important aspects, or one of the most important things to pay attention to. I mean, it is not something like, okay, it's not important. No, yeah, it's big deal. So every single player in these teams are ready to go, and they are in a great physical condition. So in my opinion, that is very positive, a very positive thing, because if we are able to reach the top highest level in terms of body shape and body weight, of course, and conditioning and all the stuff, it's gonna be a very different season for us. I mean, over the last 3 years, like I said in the beginning of the video, over the last 3 years, it has been completely different thing. I mean, if you saw to the players of Real Madrid, they were in, good condition, but not perfect. So in my opinion, that is the reason why we were, less competitive than other teams like Chelsea and PSG, or even Bayern Munich, because we were not paying attention enough to that aspect of the practice, of the, profile, or whatever you want to call it. So in my opinion, that is something that, the physical aspect, in my opinion, is so important in these days. So the fact of recovering to Antonio Pintus like a physical therapist, like the physical boss and things like that, in my opinion, is a very good news for Real Madrid, because we definitely need players in a much better condition that we have seen already, right? So it is a good thing that they saw to David Alaba working out like that, like crazy, like nuts, because it is kind of, if they see to a player in a higher level, in my opinion, they will try to copy that and try to keep up with David Alaba. So it's a very good news for all of us. So the next topic, let's move on. Yeah, and let's talk about another player who is doing a great job in the Olympic Games. I'm talking about Kubo, who was the hero who stole all the show yesterday against South Africa, playing for Japan. I mean, Japan won 1-0 to South Africa, and Kubo scored the goal, and he was again the most outstanding players the most outstanding player of the national team of Japan, which is good for Real Madrid. It's funny though, because the guy will leave on loan again for the third season in a row, and he very likely will play for Real Sociedad, which is of course very good news, because if there is a team where I like to see, or I would like to see Take Kubo playing on loan, it is Real Sociedad, because they have a project. It's a team who normally get some of the younger players in La Liga to build up a very good team, a very good project, who also has chances to be in Europe the next season. So that is the best destination for Take Kubo. But in my opinion, what we should reconsider is our thoughts towards Kubo, because he's a very young player, and some people still think that he is very young for playing in Real Madrid. Maybe doesn't have level enough to play in Real Madrid. However, we might be surprised if we would be able to give him a chance to play in Real Madrid, and maybe we would be surprised with the level of Take Kubo. I mean, if you think about it, this guy is all the time, especially when he plays for the national team of Japan, he's all the time, doing a very good job, very good games, playing in a higher level than the rest of the teammates. So if you see, for example, Marco Asensio playing with Spain, is a completely different story. We are not seeing the best version of Marco Asensio. And of course, Japan is different, because maybe Japan is not as strong as Spain, and Asensio is not the same player, is not the kind of the same player than Take Kubo. But if you give the chance to Take Kubo to see how he plays in Real Madrid, in my opinion, that'd be great, because Take Kubo is still a very skillful and talented player who might have a very good chance in Real Madrid if we were able to give him an opportunity. But apparently that is not going to happen soon, and Real Madrid only has one plan for Take Kubo, which is giving on loan to Real Sociedad or maybe another team, don't know. But it's kind of sad, because Take Kubo for me is the future of Real Madrid, but unfortunately he's not having the chances, he's not having the opportunity that in my opinion should have in Real Madrid. But it is what it is, man. There's nothing we can do about that. So now let's move on and let's keep talking about another player, Rafa Varane, who was expected to leave very soon to Manchester United, but for any reason we don't know, there has been a setback, and Rafa Varane hasn't been presented yet with Manchester United. And actually he came back to Madrid. He went to undergo the medical test that every single player has to pass before to go to the practice, but he didn't go to the practice. I mean, normally when a player comes back, he goes to see the doctor and to test his physical condition and all the stuff, and right after that they go to the practice, right? Okay, so Rafa Varane didn't. He only went to the doctor, he passed the test, and that's it. He didn't show up in the training ground. So what I'm thinking about that, it is because Rafa Varane is still waiting for something to happen soon regarding to his future, whether stay in Real Madrid or go to Manchester United. But in the last moment, what I read, it is the Manchester United is still trying to lower the price of Rafa Varane, which is funny to me, because I don't know what these guys want. I mean, if you are able to sign a player like Rafa Varane for about 45 or 50 million euros, is a very good deal. But apparently Manchester United still insists in lowering more and more the price of the French center back for about, maybe they want to sign the player for about 40 to 45 million euros, which is unacceptable for Real Madrid. I mean, if you think about it, Real Madrid has a player which is the most valuable asset that we have, and is worth about 70 million euros. So if you are selling the player for about, if you are lowering the price of the player in about 15 million, and Real Madrid accepts to sell Rafa Varane for about 55 million, man, it's still a very good deal. So I don't really know, I don't really get it, I don't really understand what these guys from Manchester United are expecting for. I mean, if you are able to sign again to Rafa Varane for about 55 or even 60 million, is still a very good deal. So I don't know what is going to happen. It was expected to be presented with Manchester United yesterday or today, but maybe they will have to wait the weekend. Maybe there will be more negotiations during the weekend. I don't know, but the only thing I know so far is that Rafa Varane is in Madrid, and that is something he wanted to avoid, because he didn't want to return to Madrid. He did want to go all the way to Manchester, so he didn't want to show up again in Madrid with the rest of the teammates and pass the medical test and all the stuff. But he did, because there was no chance for him, and there was no another choice for him. If the negotiation is not done yet, he will have to show up in the training ground on Monday. So whatever happens, guys, I will let you know. But let me talk about the last topic, the last specific name, which is of course Kylian Mbappe, and what is going on right now with the French player. Okay, Kylian Mbappe, as you know, he came back yesterday to the training ground of PSG. As you know, it was expected for him to return in the next Sunday, but he shortened his vacation and he decided to come back earlier to Paris, right? So the thing is, did he had a kind of meeting with the board members of PSG, Al-Khelaifi, Leonardo? What happened yesterday? Okay, the only information that we have in that aspect is pretty much the information from Pablo Polo. It's an article that came out in Marca today, claiming that Mbappe still insists in not to renew his contract with PSG, but for now he will keep playing for PSG the last season of his contract, because he still has to play, or he'll still have a contract with PSG until 2022. Okay, this is the information from Pablo Polo. I disagree completely, because in my opinion, Real Madrid will make an offer very soon. I don't know whether this week or the next week, but Real Madrid will try to sign to Kylian Mbappe for this summer. I mean, the last thing we want to do is to sign Kylian Mbappe for the next year. But if PSG insists, if Kylian Mbappe doesn't want to, start a war or something like that against PSG, then we will have to assume that Kylian Mbappe might arrive to Real Madrid the next year and not this year. I mean, the good news, that would be a super top player for free, because if Mbappe joins Real Madrid the next year, that would be for free, which is good, of course. But in my opinion, all those Madridistas, we have spent about 4 years waiting for a big name to come to Madrid, to play to Real Madrid. And if you tell me now that I have to wait another year, that I have to extend my wait for another year, that would make me nuts, man, because I'm still waiting for Kylian Mbappe to sign for Real Madrid this summer. But it's not just because I want to see Mbappe in Madrid. It is because we really need a top player, a top forward in Madrid for this year to become competitive again. I mean, there's no choice for us to win any single thing if we don't count with another super big name like Kylian Mbappe or Erling Haaland or maybe Robert Lewandowski. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is not just because I just want to see Kylian Mbappe wearing the Real Madrid jersey. It's not just about that. It is much more. I mean, with players like, for example, Manchester City is going to sign to a Harry Kane for 200 million euros right now. PSG has been signing the best players in Europe. Chelsea has a very good project. If you don't have even a good forward, I mean, what are you waiting for? You really need a very good name, a very big name, a top player in the forward of Real Madrid. I mean, not only we should reinforce even the different lines of the field, for example, the midfield, the right back and all the stuff, but at least you will have to sign a player like Kylian Mbappe if you want to become competitive again. So I don't know what is going to happen still. I'm still like nervous because honestly I don't know what is going to happen, whether he will stay or he will come to Madrid. I don't know. So I will keep you posted whatever it happens, but for now the only information that we have regarding to Mbappe is that he is training back again with PSG, and so there's no other choice for us other than wait a little bit more. So now let me know your thoughts about that. Just comment in the section below, and of course subscribe my channel, Real Madrid Hub.